And welcome back to Pure Nebraska. Here on the program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group Common Ground. Volunteers with this group are always working to spread a positive message about agriculture to consumers.
Today we are going to learn more about the impact our recent weather conditions are having on farmers. And joining us now to talk about that is Common Ground volunteer Leslie Boswell from the Shickley area. Always good to see you, Leslie.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for making the drive. And this is a good topic. We've had a lot of storms and rain. Monday, you were kind of in that target area with storms, weren't you?
In the Shickley area?
Yeah.
A little bit. We did have a tornado that caught a high school, just not too far from us. There were some severe storms in the area, but yet a lot of it kind of split and went right around our area, so we didn't even get that much rain at home. My husband and I were here in Lincoln, though, and listening to all the reports and everything. We were headed to a band concert at Norris down by Hickman that got canceled that night.
I bet.
So
Yeah.
we were kind of in this and missed that, and so we were lucky that we were out of the worst of it
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah. Well, and it's been a very wet season, it seems like. What are you seeing? How does it impact farmers?
There are so many things. Everything about the weather affects a farmer. It's a really busy time of year for farmers and weathermen. And for us, when we started planting, it was so dry that we couldn't even get our planters to go into the ground. And some of them were running extra weight. We decided to wait so that to see if we did maybe get a chance of rain, and then we got a little bit of it planted, and then some of the guys were thinking, well, it's so dry now that we're going to have to run our pivots to get the crop to come up. And then it started raining, and it rained, and it rained, and it really soaked up the ground very well. But now with these last rains, it's really starting to pond up, and it's starting to run off, which washes ditches in your field, it washes a seed out, it washes the nutrients out. So that has got a huge effect on it also. Plus some of the storms, one of our friends lost 3 of their center pivot irrigation systems last night. And then you have to deal with the expense of going in, tearing up the field, picking up the old one, putting a new one in, and then trying to salvage the field because you tear it up so bad when it's wet like this.
Wow.
Well, Leslie, how do you know when it's too wet to get in the field, and what happens if you don't get your crops in on time?
On corn, it goes up to a certain date where you can have a decent crop, but then after a certain date, then it starts losing bushels. They used to say May 10th was where the cutoff is. If you plant after that, then you start losing bushels on your yield. There is a lot of talk right now of farmers that are not going to be getting their crops in or the corn in on time, so they may switch over to soybeans, which is a little bit shorter season. But that depends on what kind of chemicals you have already put on, if you have fertilized for it. We work on a corn-soybean rotation, so all of our fertilizer and all of our chemicals are all just designed for that. We won't switch unless something really drastic happens. So they're talking now about some of the corn acres being reduced because of late planting. And now with as wet as it is, it's going to take a long time to get back in the field. As far as getting in the field, it really does need to be fairly dry, or your planter is going to be pushing mud. It'll plug up tubes, it won't drop the seed. Your tractor, when you're turning, is going to be tearing ruts in there, and that's ruts that you may have to deal with for several years if you're a no-till, because you don't tear it up and get them all worked out again. So that's something that can last a long time.
There's a lot
So there's
to
so many
remember.
things that are all a factor on this.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Leslie, you're going to stick around.
Yes, I am.
Great.
All right. That is good.